Continental Cable Vision presents high school football 1996. Today, from Irma Kionka Field, we present to you the John Glenn Rockets against the Dearborn Fordson Tractors in a Region AA semifinal game. Hello again, everyone. I'm Mike Krupp along with Rob Gorsica. Thank you very much for joining us, Rob. Last week we saw some theatrics, taking us down to the wire. I don't know about you, but I don't have 9 lives to go with these John Glenn Rockets. I hope they don't have to go through what they went through last week to win the football game, if that's the case.
No, I don't think the odds of it happening 2 times in a row at home, plus you got good weather here. Last week was certainly a game that could have went either way, and they just happened to be on the winning end. Teams find a way to do that. Now, I'm sure Coach Gordon instills into these guys all week that, it's it. This is it. Every day could be your last game. So there's not much to say to the kids,
Well,
they know what's going on.
Pretty much this is John Glenn's final home game of the season. If they do win next week, they'll go on to a regional site to be yet undetermined. But first things first, this football game, Dearborn Fordson, they have Kamal J for number 38, practically the offense on this team, over 1,500 yards rushing and 18 touchdowns. Career, Robbie's got 38 games played, over 43 touchdowns and 3,500 yards. So basically, Fordson has number 38 to work with.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you're going to see, you read a lot about him in the local media. He's a name that you read a lot about all year. So it's always nice to see someone like that. You just hope that the Fordson team doesn't rely too much on, and that's something that can happen in a game like this. They wait for their big guy to make the big plays. And, as a coach, you just say to the kids, don't rely on one guy. Just do your job, block, and everything will take care of itself.
Well, we got a full crowd on hand here. A beautiful afternoon for football. John Glenn will win the toss. They elect to receive. Back deep to receive Antonio Gibson, number 4, to the near side. Dave Jarrett, number 32, to the far side.
Yeah, once you go past this point, it doesn't get as big as this. This isn't the home crowd. These boys out there are going to learn what it means to have momentum.
Tony Ventura on the kickoff. Jarrett takes it from his 10. Jarrett through the middle, big hole to the 35-yard line. Good field position for the Rockets to take over 1st and 10. They're led by quarterback number 16, Justin Barrett, a junior. Got a lot of experience. He has in the backfield with him number 15, Reggie Spearman. He had his ankle taped up before the game, so he'll be ready to go. Fullback is Antonio Gibson, number 4. The wideouts, Dave Jarrett, 32, and number 2, Lou Hartwig. Number 10, Paul Morandi as well. The tight end, 86, John Beecher. And we'll get to the offensive line after this first set. Just underway, 1st and 10 for the Rockets. The 35, the give to Gibson, number 4. Shakes one tackle about 2 yards to the 37.
Yeah, nothing too secretive about that. Just let's go power on power here and see what happens. That's something really very easy play.
The offensive line, all 5 seniors. 77, Eric Jackham. 66, Brian Schwessing. 64, Jason Stiroff. 65, Rich Jordan. And 70, Mark Dugas.
Yeah, you almost expect this to come out of. You basically almost feel like you could get down there and coach this team.
2nd and 9 from the 36. The toss to Gibson in the backfield, trying to establish the running game early. Crawls his way across to the 43-yard line.
Yeah, he had a chance to bust to the outside and probably pick up some other yardage. Instead, decided to go inside and did it on his own.
Well, this will bring up a short yardage situation now for the Rockets. 3rd down and about 2.
That's something that we talked about last week. It just seemed, I don't know if it was you, but their passing game just didn't seem to click. I mean, they put up real good numbers, the passing team did, but there's a difference between when you can see a team clicking. It seems like they're clicking. It just seemed they kind of were like lethargic last week. It'd be nice to get a quick one now and establish a good rhythm in the passing game.
10:45 to play first quarter. And apparently Fordson's jumped.
I don't know. Last week Barrett did a lot of that hard head banging, and I don't know if a ref would warn him. I'm sure that it was apparent in the films and all that stuff. But some refs will call it, some refs don't.
So good hard count by Barrett draws the Fordson Tractors offside.
Taking a look at the 2 guys in stripes there, huh? They got to call the game.
Well, the Zebras will have a nice atmosphere for today's game. No, not as cold as it was last week.
I'm telling you right now, though, I mean, they would love better not to then call a penalty all game. That's usually the best kind of game.
1st and 10 for the Rockets from their own 47. Gibson lost the handle on the football. John Beecher, the tight end, recovers, number 86.
And it looked like Gibson was shot out of a cannon through that backfield. It didn't look. I would be surprised if he was just almost by Barrett by the time he got the ball. Never had it.
Well, I think Coach Chuck Gordon in his 28th year coaching the Rockets got to tell his kids, keep your eye on the football. And not worry about how much speed you get running from the backfield.
It's tough to do early in the game. You got a lot of motion going.
2nd and 10 from the 47. Hartwig in motion. Comes near side. Barrett, short step, drop, throws for Jarrett. It's incomplete off the fingertips. We saw Jarrett earlier in the season do that. He's got to keep concentration on that football.
Yeah, going across the middle is kind of tough. I mean, you take a little bit of your concentration always in the back of your head. You know, you've seen it on TV 100 times, and you know, it's just the receiver that can do better in that situation. He should have caught that ball. It was right in his hands, went up high. I think he was thinking about the hit.
This will bring up 3rd and 10. Just under 10 minutes to play in the opening quarter. John Glenn has the opening possession. We have no score.
It looks like a basic, really simple sort of defense by Fordson. It's a good covering toward a defense. They bring their middle linebacker up off the ball.
Barron on the rollout. He's going to eat it back at his 39. Great job. Number 21 led the way. Nicholas Smith for the Fordson Tractors, so they'll force Glenn to punt here on 4th down.
Yeah, they play a good sort of defense. Nice soft. They give you a lot of different looks, and that's one thing that you just hope goes right for you in a game. Especially in this caliber. I mean, one of the reasons you get to this stage of a season or a career with a team is you're able to do things like that, high defenses, and be able to coach a defense and almost like control the game through the coaching. And that's basically what it is. The good ones survive.
Chet Reeves will punt, number 1, back deep to receive. We'll get our first look at Kamal Jafer, number 38. Reeves, good high kick. Jafer calls for the fair catch. That is 25, 26-yard line, so the Tractors will take over 1st and 10, and they're led by number 7, quarterback Carlos Smith.
Yeah, that was sort of like swatted at a fly. You know, he made that sign real quick. There was no denying he was going to call it. You know, that's pretty good because, I mean, as a coach, you can say, maybe the first couple punts, don't worry about running them. Just worry about catching them. You know, you get a little bit excited, and that's how you get turnover. So,
well, Fordson's led by Coach Jeff Sturgalis. Team with 1 loss this year, record 9-1.
They play in a tough league, tough division. They play some tough teams. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, he got the last 5 yards. Actually, it was the first, and then he bounced off the tackle and was able to get up close.
The Tractors pick up the first down. The quarterback does it himself, number 7, Carlos Smith.
Yeah, you got to like what you see on both sides. You got good hustle on both sides. We saw two first downs made by 2 running backs who really wanted it.
Smith, a 6'3", 180-pound junior.
You know, they set Ortiz way back in that backfield. I guess it's like a power eye backfield back there.
Coming up on 7 minutes to play in the opening quarter, there's Kamal Jafer's first carry. He's stuffed for about a couple.
You know, there's a big difference that we saw last week with Catholic Central when you got a stacked backfield. When you have 3 guys in the backfield, 4 actually with a quarterback, sort of makes it easy to defend because, you know, you sort of shorten the field and everybody's, you know, idea of what they have to do is really simple. When you get the teams like, you see Glenn will do that. They'll spread them out. They'll put 3 wide receivers out. And all of a sudden, these defenders have a lot of land, and they've got one-on-one sort of responsibility. So you know, you get a lot of guys in the backfield like Fordson has. It sometimes go against you.
2nd and 8 from the 38. Lost the snap at the start. Turns out to be a good play. The Tractors fumble once again, but it's recovered at about the 48-yard line.
That almost looked like an old 30s shoot skidoo play where the quarterback would just set the ball on the ground and then pick it up and give it over to the running back coming up. They're pulling out all the stops.
Well, it's a first down for Dearborn. No matter what the case, we've seen 3 fumbles early on, 2 by Fordson, 1 by Glenn.
Yeah, they seem to, you know, we've seen Glenn all year long. They seem to have good luck against teams like this when they put the power in the backfield. They say, let's go, power around power, and it's just a matter of who breaks down first.
1st and 10 from the 47. Jafer on the carry, stuffed at the line of scrimmage.
Everybody's getting in on that one. Who's that? Coming around the end, 86 there for Glenn on there, Beecher.
Also on the tackle, number 40, Nick Nishwat had a nice game last week against Catholic Central.
You know, a good way to attack an offense like this is to every once in a while throw slants in there where everybody, you know, the 4 down linemen immediately go to the, you know, right. You always try to counter against the quick hitting team like this that does a lot of misdirection. You know, it becomes a chess game. Once you let the offense know that you're going to do things like that, they have to think more now. 2nd
and 8 from the 49. Smith in a rollout, play action, looks to pass. The intended receiver, number 21, Nicholas Smith. Good coverage there by Dave Jarrett, 32. He had the height advantage on the wide receiver.
Like a blanket, he was all over him. That ball was overthrown. Or maybe it was good that it was overthrown.
Well, Smith goes 6'4", 190 pounds. Dave Jarrett, 6'3", 180. So that's a good matchup of height.
You know, it's sort of, you know, you can even just feel the difference, you know, within the crowd. When you get on the field like that, you know, these guys seem to have more presence out there now. It's like, you know, you got the sun, you got a nice day, you're in the playoffs. All of a sudden, these guys are growing, man. They're growing big time.
An important 3rd down situation now for the Tractors, 3rd and 8. Smith once again to pass. Across the middle. Got Smith, nice catch. Shakes a couple of tackles, picks up a nice block along the way, gets down to the John Glenn 16-yard line, tackle by number 11. That's Nick Hudson.
Yeah, he had to come a long way to get him. Good move once he got into the open field. He's got some speed. It was a really good play. Everybody blocked right, got the ball out there, a little 10-yard hook.
It's a nice catch across the middle. Seeing as how last week we didn't see too many receivers go over the middle and actually challenge the safeties.
No, not at all. It's a nice, safe play, too. You know, you can see how that right now, all of a sudden, as your defenders, you get into that field, you get into the huddle, and you say, maybe we are playing a little bit too back. Then you got to start moving up a little bit.
So the play goes for 34 yards, the longest play of the game. 1st and 10 from the 17. It's 44 in the backfield. Now B. Phillips.
Yeah, he had a hole there, but he had to jump over a couple guys, and once that happens, you just put your head down and get 3 or 4, whatever you can do. But I see a lot of people touch the ball for Fordson. A lot of people are touching the ball, and that doesn't make it that much harder. I mean, maybe on the stat guy or something up in the booth, but...
Coming up on 4:30 to play in the opening quarter. Fordson mounting a good drive.
Boy,
2nd and 8 from the 15.
You know, from the coaching staff point of view, these games go by so quick. At least the first half goes by quick.
Fake toss, looks near side. 4 is the ball carrier. That's Musa Faraj. Faraj fumbles the football. Tried to force it forward in the end zone, but anyways, Fordson recovers. It'll be at the goal line.
I don't know if he'd be able to recover. I don't know what the rule is as far as that, but they probably would have brought it out somewhere. The last place it was touched. I don't think you can fumble in the end zone, even in the pros, and maybe you can. But anyways.
The spot of the football is just shy of the goal line. Fordson with 3 fumbles on this drive, but they have all managed to recover. And in any event, the Tractors have a 1st and goal at the 1. Smith calls Jafer's number. He's stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Penalty on the play. Fordson signals touchdown, but we'll wait for the call.
Yeah, usually when the backfield judge throws it, it's holding. any type of offensive penalty to come in. I thought maybe it was just a little movement on the guard on that one time, but it didn't look like it was that apparent, but the flag came a little later. I thought it was more holding.
Well, the call is illegal motion against Fordson, their third penalty of the first quarter.
Either one. He threw the flag. He had his choice. Yeah, that's good. That's a good spot for the for Glenn. That's basically where the play before he was tackled, or he should have been tackled right there in the 6.
Well, so far the Tractors, they've got 6 miscues on this drive.
Yeah, they definitely are an interesting team. I mean, you got to hold your breath with these guys. Yeah, giving up the ball and penalties.
So they're backed up to the 6 now. Smith on the rollout to the far side, got a blocker in front. Might take it himself, puts his head down. He's close to the goal line, and they signal touchdown Fordson.
Is it? Yeah, you know that ref was there kind of late on that play. I'm surprised, unless I didn't see one down there, but I saw him running behind the play. That's a tough angle to call it, but must have got through.
So Carlos Smith, the quarterback, on a 6-yard touchdown run, and Fordson has the first point of the ball game.
We knew that before the refs did. Must be that excellent camera work.
So with 3:28 to play in the opening quarter, the Fordson Tractors strike first. Carlos Smith on a 6-yard touchdown run, actually kind of what is a bootleg sort of run.
No.
And if anything is held to the respect of Kamal Jafer as a running back, maybe Fordson has more than just Jafer to work with. Obviously, we haven't seen Fordson all year. So,
yeah, you know what? It's like one of these games where it's going to take more than just the one man. You know, I mean, the one man might make the big play, but, you know, as many people as you can get into this game, the better off you are.
They go for 2 across, and the 2-point conversion is made. 21 on the catch.
Thrown ball.
Nicholas Smith.
They hit the guy out there had great coverage on him.
So the Smiths, Carlos and Nick, they work together for an 8-0 Fordson lead.
Look at that Neswat out there, number 40. Looks like he's got a big old cast on his left arm out there. Oh, maybe if he injured that in the game last week, but he's all over the field usually. He's a two-wayer, I think. Looks tough. When you got a big old bulky cast like that.
So the Tractors of Fordson take an 8-0 lead. That's an all-important 2-point play. And Tony Ventura will get set to kick, number 10. Coach Gordon and his staff talk over strategy on this kick return.
Yeah, you know, this is a good point to get out of here. You know, get a win, move on to the, what would be the semifinals.
We got the worst fights in the league, but hey, we're going to keep our breath. That's all that matters.
So the Glen crowd a bit stunned. As we said, Fordson has 3 fumbles in the game and 3 penalties, but still they have the lead. Last week, John Glenn scored first, but then Catholic Central came back with 2 consecutive touchdowns. So Glenn is used to adversity no matter what type of the football game it is. Gibson and Jarrett back deep. It's going to be Jarrett from his 10. In the middle, he stumbled, a nice tackle. Number 3, Josh Schneider for Fordson makes the tackle.
He's pumped. That's how you get him pumped out there.
Well, Fordson, before the warm-ups, they walked off on the field, not in pads. They walked off just with their jerseys. They walked up and down the field once to get a feel of it. And then they went back in the locker room. John Glenn came out as normal. They were pumped, psyched. And they'll set up shop 1st and 10 from the 22. So the pregame rituals kind of differ between the coaching strategies, how they set up for a football game. Sean Hurd in the backfield with Gibson. Gibson on the carry. He's wrestled back by half of the Fordson team. He was down. There is no fumble.
Well, that, you know, if he had looked like he should have been a little step quicker on that. He had a little hole if he bounced it to the outside, but it's closed real quick. And Fordson D getting pretty aggressive.
Well, so far we haven't seen Reggie Spearman, number 15.
He was bothered by that ankle last week, man. He's hopping all day long. I don't think they want to. I mean, at this point, you got nothing to lose, but still, it might be worse than it is.
Gain of 1, 2nd and 9 from the 23. 2:40 to play opening quarter. Fordson with an 8-0 lead. Barrett, short step. He's got all day to throw. Now the pocket closes, and he's got to eat it. This isn't the Justin Barrett we've seen last week. Normally he gets rid of that football quick.
Yeah, but maybe that's good that he did that because he had him open early. The receiver made it look like he was going right down the middle again, a nice little hook inside, 10 or 15 yarder, but for some reason he didn't throw it. He was open again, but I think he was backpedaling. So he just that's a good, in a way, a good smart move. I mean, he could have thrown the ball up. It would have been a 50-50 chance that the receiver got to it.
So this will bring up a 3rd down and 18 now for the Rockets.
Plus the D were on him. I mean, a couple guys got through there real quick.
Tough defense by Fordson.
Ooh, it's nice off. Look at that. He's got like a nice little kind of 4-1-3 going there.
Barrett, all day to throw, goes across the middle for Hartwig. He makes the catch and a penalty flag on the play. It's enough for the 1st down. We'll have to see who the flag is against.
It's definitely going to beat defense. It was on Oliver's back, but yeah, that's a nice play, boy. I tell you what, that's what they wanted to do last time, just the other side, but the play just didn't develop.
Lou Hartwig goes 6'3", 170 pounds across the middle. He's an easy target for Justin Barron.
Sean Hurd coming out. He's playing sort of that fullback type position today. He's good. He's good. Low gravity, kind of guy you want to get in and take somebody out at the knees inside the line.
Well, Fordson's 4th penalty is for pass interference. So give Glenn the 1st down and extra yardage. They decline the penalty, and the 1st down for the Rockets.
Yeah, it's basically a usual, typical Glenn-type game. You know, they're not going to, even though they get down early, they're not going to try anything. They're just going to do what they do best. Mix it up.
18-yard completion to Hartwig, 3 receivers to the far side. 1st and 10 from the 36. Gibson through the middle to about the 38, 39-yard line.
Looks like they got sort of like a man-on-man type defensive coverage, and they'll have a guy way in the back there, so does the safety. He'll kind of be able to take anybody that gets beat long. And, Fortune's just saying you put 3 receivers out to the left, we'll put 3 guys out there, and it's, if we can get to your quarterback before you can throw the ball, let's do it.
Coming up on...
You don't see him run much out of that formation when they put 3 wide outs. Only when he goes in motion.
Minute. Hartwig in motion, 2nd and 7 from the 39. Barrett short drop, far side. Jarrett makes the catch at the 40, wrestled back probably to the line of scrimmage.
That's a tough play to do, and you got to teach a quarterback that if you're going to throw a quick hook like that, you've got to almost roll or fade to that side, because you notice the throwing lane, he had to go to the outside of the defensive, out of the end, which made, sort of made the play a little bit less effective because you want to get the receiver in motion. If you could throw like sort of a lane, they call it a lane, if you throw it to the inside of that guy, you got the receiver running full, gets the inside position on the defender, and you hit him on the run.
The forward progress is for 2 yards, so spot the ball at the 41-yard line now. 3rd down and 5. 25 seconds to go, opening quarter. Fordson over Glenn, 8-0. 3 receivers once again. Barron's going to call timeout. Apparently miscommunication with Gibson in the backfield.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I mean, they've got the weapons to get it. You might as well use it because, you're not going to have this time anymore.
So Coach Gordon and Justin Barron and the rest of the offense will talk it over. So far, we've seen 4 penalties by Dearborn Fordson, 3 fumbles by Fordson, 1 by Glenn. And the opening scoring came with 3:28 left. Carlos Smith on a 6-yard touchdown run, and Nicholas Smith on the 2-point conversion to give Fordson the 8 points.
It's just, you just try to stay close in games like this because, teams like this may fumble and different things can happen. I mean, you can basically leave out weather, although the guys down the truck were telling us that there is a front coming through and all their equipment.
Front.
Can they get this game in or not? It's like in baseball. Get through 5.5. Let's get through 5.5. So you're up there swinging at anything.
Well, the weather is not a factor today. Beautiful conditions as opposed to last week. Temperature probably will reach about 50, if not already. So with 15 seconds left in the first quarter.
I haven't seen Fordson that much, but I know Glenn in weather that's not good. I mean, they're decent because their offense can adapt to that.
Gibson goes out as a 4th receiver. Barrett wants across the middle. Flushed. Far side. Catch is made. That's Dave Jarrett. Enough for the 1st down at the Fordson 46.
That's sort of a body English type play for a coach. I mean, Barrett could have run the ball like that, but the linebacker sort of committed. The linebacker had sort of a short sort of zone to cover, and as soon as he committed it, opened up the passing lane, and that's basically what a good senior quarterback can do for you.
One thing that I've noticed that Coach Gordon uses that most other high school teams don't is the 3 receiver set, and most of the time they're all set to one side. He's got a lot of options when he uses that because he's got 2 slot receivers to work with, and then with the running back coming from the backfield, it just opens it up even more so.
Yeah, you don't want to show, in a game like this, I mean, if things are working for you, it's good. You don't want to show everything, and so, I mean, out of certain formations, you can run 2 or 3 different plays, I mean, you could run basically the same play you just ran. It's just the opposite. It's just
7 seconds left first quarter. 1st and 10 for John Glenn from the 47. Gibson through the middle. Nice run. Powerful, punishing run to the 41-yard line.
Plus the look they're giving them. Okay, Fordson sees the films and they know them, and then you get onto something that's good like the way it's going here, and you just leave it, and then you make the Fordson coaches start guessing.
So we've come to the end of the first quarter of play here at Irma Kionka Field. The John Glenn Rockets, the home team, trail Fordson 8-0, and we'll return on LO11 Sports on Continental Cablevision with the second quarter. 2nd and 5 from the Tractors, 41. Dearborn Fordson leads John Glenn 8-0. Toss in the back to Gibson. Lead blockers across. And a nice run by Antonio Gibson near side.
Very cautious. I mean, we look back at the first quarter, and we didn't see really anything, out of the ordinary from Glenn. They ran the ball, high percentage pass plays, no reverses, no handling of the ball, no misdirection where, things can happen. They just played a really nice, mellow sort of first quarter. Gordon's got to like it. He's got to like where it's going right now. I mean, his defense is playing good.
So the Glenn Rockets, they haven't used Reggie Spearman much. He was in for maybe 1 or 2 plays. Sean Hurd has taken his place in more of a power running game now for John Glenn. 1st and 10 from the 34. Gibson, he's got nowhere to go. Wrapped up at the line of scrimmage by that tough Dearborn Fordson defense.
Yeah, number 63 got in there for Fordson.
63, Samir Baidoun.
Good play, just got down, bottled up the hole, nowhere to go. When you don't have to defend against a Reggie Spearman, you just say, hey, we'll stomp him the first time. And, unless you got guys like that can make nothing, something out of nothing, you just play it.
No gain, 2nd and 10 now from the 34. Barrett, play action. Eludes, he's got to eat it. And that's the 3rd sack of the ball game. The ball comes loose.
Yeah, again, he really didn't have time to think, and that's the best thing you can hope for a quarterback to do is eat the ball. Just eat the ball or run the, or make something out of nothing again. But, of the evils that you would less likely to see is him just panic and throw it up, and we'd have never seen him do that.
That's the 3rd sack for Dearborn Fordson already.
I would get on those offensive linemen. We have seen them perform better than they have. But, like I said, that the Fordson defense, they're playing good, just a straight up. They're bringing, the more guys you bring off the line of scrimmage, sort of the harder it is for the offense to block.
3rd and 18 now from the 42. Passing situation. Barrett, he's got all day this time. Far side, he's got a man open. That's Morandi. Makes the catch. Nice catch by Paul Morandi for the 1st down. You know what, Rob? When Barrett needs to, he's got his receivers there. They make the catch at the key time.
Yeah, but they get back to huddle. I hit him in the head. So you should have dove. He had 6. He had 6.
You're right, Rob. He had 6. Why he went out of bounds. The presence of mind for him was just to make that catch. The play goes for 40 yards. So it sets up a 1st and goal now from the 2. 10:02 to play in the first half.
Hey, that's what you dream of, tiptoe in the last 2 yards.
Morandi and Hartwig to the far side as receivers. Gibson makes the carry. Touchdown, John Glenn.
No way. They should give that touchdown to Sean Hurd. He just stuck it to the linebacker that came through. You could hear it all the way up here. That's a great block.
Well, one thing, like I said before, Rob, they've got the power game now with Sean Hurd in the backfield. They've got 2 punishing runners, and like you said before, Hurd on that lead block. Definitely credit him with an assist.
Methodical. That was a textbook play right there.
So, John Glenn, they will have to go for 2 if they want to tie the football game.
No. I would not.
We'll have to see Coach Gordon's strategy here.
He's probably going, what do you guys think? What do you want to do? You know, it's your game. It's your season. Boy, that'd be nice.
Well, they have the option, either they want to tie the football game now or wait and have a field goal or an extra point later on in the game.
Yeah, you know, you look down in that huddle, he's got his arms crossed, and usually he's got the board and he's pointing, and he's, you know, now it's like you guys, this is having fun. This is what it's all about, you know. Just relax the players, let them enjoy it.
John Beecher comes over to the sidelines to be looked at by the trainer.
In front of the big crowd. That's great. I don't think it's anything serious, but something I think we better take a look at.
So it looks like Glenn is going to go for two here. They've got Hartwig as a wide receiver, 6'3". Sean Hurd, the Punisher, in the backfield.
Maybe a little wrinkle they put in. You know, you look at films and you know, if if Fordson goes for two all the time because of films. So you just put in a couple wrinkle plays.
Double tight end, Bryce Laughlin, Steve Zielinski, 85 and 87. Antonio Gibson.
Little halfback pass or something maybe. You know what I mean? Something you've never seen before.
Barrett, quick job, looks for Hartwig in the corner. Makes the catch, we get a tie ball game. Nice catch by Lou Hartwig.
The play of choice, it seems, in all levels of football today is just that little, you know, outside move. But you know what? A real good receiver will look back and come back to the ball, and that's exactly what happened.
Hartwig, he's turned into one heck of a receiver this year being his senior season. He's got the presence of mind. He's got the hands of stick. He's got the glue hands. One thing I've noticed between last year and this year, definitely Lou Hartwig has got the confidence. As does Justin Barron with all of the starts he had as a sophomore, now in his junior season. These guys are gelling together at the right time.
Yes, this is what you ask for. And how many times we said it, we'll say it again, you know, and it goes back through those long seasons, those chances that those second stringers get in and get a chance to play, you know. And I bet you half the guys running on the field right now, including number 10 right there, it's like saying, hey, you know,
well,
that's what it's all about.
For 30 John Glenn seniors, this is their final chance to play in front of the home crowd on their home field. They want to get this crowd pumped up, and on their side, we got a tie ball game, 8-8. Schaefer and Smith back deep to receive. Steve Paling to boot. Good kick by Paling. Through the end zone, touchback. First and 10 for the Tractors at their own 20.
It's got a little wind at his back today, so you know, I can see where he got the foot. Plus he's got, you know, the air seems to have been recharged with the score like it usually does here.
So Fordson, they are stat sheet stuffers so far today. 4 penalties, 3 fumbles, 3 sacks.
You know, I really don't think that really has had much an effect on them. They run the ball, they run it well, they control the ball, and it's like, it's 48 minutes. And how many times is it going to be said that, you know, you got to play 48 minutes?
Kamal Jafer, 2 carries for 5 yards. Give us to Ortiz on the far, coming to the near side, gets to about the 25.
Good tackles, good solid defense, good offense, good execution of plays. You know, it seems every time they run off tackle, they have a really good big hole, and the offensive line does a great job of firing out on that right side.
Well, Fordson, they've got a big, beefy offensive line for that running game. The running game has gained nearly 2,000 yards this season. 2nd and 5 from the 25. Triple option, Jafer through the middle. Nice carry, good punishing run by Kamal Jafer. Gets to about the 38-yard line. First down for Fordson.
Ouch. Ouch. But you know what?
Jafer goes 5'9", 181 pounds.
He goes back to the huddle and says, you see? See how that's how it's done.
For his height, he's definitely got the build. You can see in his shoulders, he's got the muscle there.
Yeah, you remember those hits if they keep popping them like that, and they're just basically running at will here.
Kind of looks like John Riggins from up here in a way. 1st and 10 from the 38. Jafer on the carry, splits to the outside, got the moves. And the speed across into Glenn territory to the 41-yard line. Now we're starting to see what everyone's been talking about this kid.
You know what, I just saw something that a defensive coach would see, that you notice the running back when he got into the open, he put 2 hands on the ball. So all of a sudden, automatically, that tells my DBs to go, look, the guy's not a flashy runner. He'd rather stick his head down and punish you. So that's a way you could sort of eliminate the big play. Just go, all right, go for the tackle. When you got him in the open field, always go for the tackle.
But the play is going to come back because Fordson will be penalized for the 5th time.
And like you said, John Riggins, he'd always put 2 hands on the ball when he got in the open, and those kind of guys are easy sort of to tackle. It's the guys that get the ball in one hand and start opening up.
You can see in his stature, the way he stands in the backfield, it's reminiscent.
North-south. All right, say, I'll take you on, and we've seen that already, and so is Vicelli.
5-yard penalty, 1st and 15 now from the Fordson 33. Smith does a good job of hiding the football. Ortiz, the ball carrier, to the far side for a few.
Little movement on the Glenn defense. You noticed how those 2 linebackers sort of tucked up inside there and then came back out.
Take a look at this John Glenn defense. They're anchored by Ira Bargan, 76, senior. Steve Paling, 54. Jim Stafford, 25. Jason Crofton, 88. And the linebackers, number 40, Nick Nishwat. 34 is Matt Griglio. 35, Sean Hurd, you will see also from time to time. And that's secondary tough. The safeties, 12, Todd Vicelli. 8, Steve Waller. The corners, number 11, Nick Hudson. 32, Dave Jarrett. 2nd and 14 from the 34.
I look like they have a 2 tight end offense in there, and just get everything in tight and let's keep going at what we're doing. They seem to be having pretty good luck on and off running the football. I don't think we've seen them throw yet this set of downs.
Well, definitely Glenn read that play perfect this time, stuffed him.
Yeah, it's nice to play defense when it's 3rd and 12. You know, you can give the guy a little bit of leeway and you can line him up.
Also in the game, number 5, Marlon McClendon as a defensive back for John Glenn.
Yeah, that's the big play. You know, they gave up some key big plays last week when they had them 3rd and 12 like that. Boy, that just drives you nuts.
3rd and 12, Smith to pass. Got a couple receivers across the middle. Ortiz, the intended receiver, but it's incomplete. So this will bring up 4th down in a punting situation now for the Tractors.
You see Nick Smith out there, 21, going, yeah, I was held out there right in the middle. I think he was actually going for him, overthrew the ball. It just happened that the other receiver was downfield. Didn't see much of a rush out of Glenn. That could kill you, because that play was able to develop. If they had caught it, it would have been 1st down, and we saw that earlier in the 1st quarter that they got to get a little rush in there maybe. Seems like they're playing a little soft zone, a man-to-man early, and then if they get behind them, let them get behind them.
Kind of in a prevent defense sort of mode.
You almost have to on that type. I mean, you don't want to, you know, it's not like it's 2nd or a 1st down where you might expect a run play. You can get a little lax, you know, out there because you know it's going to be a pass. You just hope that your pass rush doesn't give a quarterback time for the play to develop.
So Fordson calls timeout to talk it over on 4th down.
All right, we saw earlier that the Glenn offensive line wasn't doing it, but Barron ate the ball. He ate the ball. We'll just see if that's what happens to this quarterback. So far, he hasn't been pressured at all. You know, all of a sudden, you turn into a different player when you get somebody in your face.
And that's a good point because of the fact John Glenn, they had their way with Catholic Central for the 2nd half at least. They shut out the Shamrocks last week. This time, the Glenn defense, they need maybe a little bit more of a kickstart here because of the fact they haven't figured out the blocking schemes of the offensive line.
Yeah, by now, they're pretty much, I think, there's probably only a few that they're going to see. They've basically seen, each team has seen each other, and they've seen what they're going to want to do. Each team's had the ball maybe 4 or 5 different times if they've had a chance to. And that's where we always go back to. I mean, if something's working for you, offensive or defensive, you don't change it in this situation, especially in a playoff game like this. You just let those kids know that you're happy with what they're doing.
So back deep to receive on the punt, 10, Paul Morandi, and 4, Antonio Gibson.
Or you work the refs over like Gordon's doing.
Well, Coach
come
Gordon,
on. Huh?
Coach Gordon, he's seen many a football game, especially in November, the last 3 seasons, actually 3 out of 4. John Glenn semifinals in 94. They lost to the finals to this same Dearborn Fordson team, 12-7 in 93 at the Dome.
I don't know if you can see down there, but the players along down there, all to the left of you see a bunch of would-be's, or next be probably Glenn players sitting down there getting a taste of the playoffs already. Now, these guys are probably 9th graders down there, going to play football for Glenn.
It's a good experience to be around in a playoff atmosphere. Back deep to punt, number 44, Phillips. So we'll see what Fordson does here on 4th down. It's off a short kick, kind of wobbles in the wind. Gibson makes the fair catch at the 35, does a good job because Glenn has good field position to work with.
Yeah, you know, you start doing good, you start getting, you know, some momentum on your side, you start believing in yourself.
The ball went up as sort of a knuckleball, kind of hung up there in the wind.
Yeah, they got a lot of time. They could put something together here. They got good field position that, you know.
So with 7:07 to go in the first half, John Glenn takes over 1st and 10 at their own 35. We have a tie score, 8-8. To see what Glenn does here on the first down, maybe a power move. Run, flea flicker. Hartwig's wide open. Oh, but it's tipped at the line of scrimmage. Lou Hartwig had nothing but field in front of him. He had his defender beat.
Yeah, you know, I think even if they got that ball off, it would have taken like probably a Rodney Pete to complete it. The defender was closing real quick on that play, but it worked. It definitely worked. It took maybe a little bit too much time to develop in the backfield that you'd hope that it wouldn't, but that's what happens when you get in the backfield.
Well, so far I think Glenn, they have to pick up the fact that they've got to get that ball off in a shorter time than they're used to because of the fact that the Fordson defense, they're reading the blocking schemes of the Glenn offensive line and getting to the quarterback sooner. 2nd and 10, Gibson punishes his way to the 39-yard line.
So they're nothing fancy. Just kind of go down horizontally with the line of scrimmage, find a hole, and sneak up through. Hope that you don't get tripped up or something, because that's basically how you go down on plays like that. You get tripped up because it's just sort of like a wall that goes down the field.
Dave Jarrett checks in, 32 as a wide receiver to give Glenn 3 receivers now. 3rd down, 6 situation from the 39. 6:25 to play in the second quarter. Barrett with that hard count once again. The give to Gibson, and then on 4th down, Glenn will punt. I don't know if a 3rd down running situation with Glenn, as many yards as they've gotten on each carry, was all that of a good idea.
He's got the wind at his back. I mean, if you're going to do something like that, you might as well just air it out. Basically, you get 1 yard out of it, but don't, you know, they probably saw something, thought they could do something big on it. I'm sure Fordson was expecting pass. They look, you know, I wouldn't be surprised in the way Gordon's talking to Barron out there is that, you know, he may have called a little audible or something up there when coach gives the quarterback a chance to step up the line. If he sees a certain defensive set, he can call a little audible.
So Chet Reeves will punt to Jafer. Jafer's back at his own 22 for 4th down. Good kick by Reeves. Jafer's going to field it on the run. He's met hard. Tackle led by Sean Hurd, Brian Schwessing, Jason Steeroff, and Paul Morandi on the tackle.
Well, the guy's got guts, man. He wants the ball. He wants to run it. He was, yeah, but he wasn't going to go too far. I mean, the best thing about that is if he busts it, he's basically gone. The containment was 3 guys.
So after the Glenn touchdown, both teams have traded possessions on punts. Penalties are an interesting situation. Fordson 5, Glenn 0.
Well, you could see early on, you know, and I could give the teams a couple early on because they're, you know, a little tense, a little pumped up, but it's turned into a really good game.
From the 31, 1st down, Jafer the ball carrier. Gets to about the 34, 35-yard line.
You know, plus you go into a game like this with a team that's so there's a reputation of a lot of penalties, and good things can really only happen from it, you know, basically because you're used to it, getting the penalties, so.
77 on the tackle, that's Eric Jackim for John Glenn. 2nd and 6 from the 35.
Yeah, just hold them off. You got the home field, got the little extra rest. Didn't have to jet in.
Jafer once again through the middle. Close to the 40-yard line. You saw once again he put 2 hands on that ball, carry it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, you do ask a running back to do that every time he does get through the line. It's when he gets through the line what he does with it. But straight ahead, yeah, nothing fancy.
Jafer's got quickness and explosiveness, especially in that open field run that was called back earlier in the game on the penalty.
Yeah, it seems like they get the two tight end formation in there. They like to run straight up. I notice he hasn't done a lot of the fake pitching. Yeah, I think he's going to call a timeout.
So on 3rd and 1, Fordson will call their 2nd timeout.
It's not bad. I mean, you're down to that point of the half where you if you got to definitely give up the ball, you want to at least make a good shot. They don't have that much to do. They have 2 yards to go, so they could, they got a lot of options. I'm sure that coach probably had a second thought or something there and said, no, call the timeout.
Quick review of the scoring. In the first quarter, Fordson struck first, 3:28 to play. Carlos Smith, the quarterback, ran 6 yards on a bootleg to the far side of the field for the game's first score. Nicholas Smith caught the 2-point conversion. 8-0 was the score. Fordson in the lead. And then in the second quarter, 9:58 to play, Antonio Gibson had a 2-yard touchdown run and a 2-point conversion from Lou Hartwig, making the reception to tie the score. And the key play on that was a 40-yard pass to Paul Morandi. And like you said, Rob, should have maybe even dove for that touchdown, but he had the presence of mind to come down with the football.
Yeah, that was strange. It looked like he had absolutely, he hadn't made his mind made up. He wasn't going to go any further. He was just going to catch the football.
Penalties.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Penalties are the story. Fordson 5, Glenn nothing. Sacks. Fordson's got 3 against Glenn, and fumbles. Fordson 3, they've recovered them all, and Glenn has 1, and they've recovered theirs.
Yeah, so far, I mean, the only thing I could probably think of saying something in the halftime locker room is that we got to get a little bit more pressure in that backfield on passing plays. Other than that, man, they're just, they're bending, not breaking. They're giving up big plays like that, big chunks of running yards, but they're not giving up the big play.
3rd and 1, maybe a bit of motion before the snap.
Somebody was anxious to get off the line. Probably had to go out and get a linebacker, which means you got to go 2 or 3 yards before you even get to the guy.
Well, Fordson, they've come up with their 6th penalty of the ball game.
You used to get in the huddle with those guys and you tell them, you go get a linebacker, and they get all pumped up. What's his number? I go, number 54, and there's his man. Boy, he'd blast.
So the false start makes it 3rd down and 6 now from the 35.
Those guys down on the line of scrimmage, they become, and this is where they start. They become a different breed down there, those 5 guys. The guards, the tackles, and the center.
You can see Griglio and Hurd linebackers. They're anxious to get to Jafer. Jafer in the open field, uses blocking. Across midfield, Vaselli's going to run him down at the 40-yard line. Jafer once again in the open field, looks for the blocking, changes direction at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, slipped out of a tackle there about 10 yards. He had the first down. Slowed him up enough, I think, for that defender to close in and tackle him. If he wouldn't have slipped, he'd have been gone.
That's Jafer's longest carry of the ball game, 25 yards and a tractor first down.
We've seen Glenn give up plays like this, but they just got to hope to bend but not break. They got time left.
Coming up on 4 minutes to play now in the second quarter. Tie score 8-8. 1st and 10 for the Tractors at the Glenn 40.
Yeah, they go back to that 2 tight end, really nice tight offensive line. That's easy to defend.
Same set through the middle. Nice tackle there by Sean Hurd, number 35, on 44 Phillips, the ball carrier.
Yeah, keep him inside. Keep him 3rd and long. All these things can go through your head.
Nick Nishwat also in on the tackle, number 40 for John Glenn. Brings up 2nd down and 7 now. Ball spotted at about the 36-yard line.
We really haven't seen Fordson go wide on many running plays except for when they get through the line of scrimmage, just the running backs on their own.
Jafer once again goes far side, shakes a couple of tackles, stumbles away his cross the 30 to about the 27-yard line. Another Fordson first down.
Getting great holes, and that's all it takes a runner like that to get outside. Once he gets outside, he gets 3 or 4 runs like that, big pop, 7-yarders like that, he starts to get really pumped, and they're hard to bring down. That offensive line's doing a good job. I've only seen maybe a couple times where the running back for Fordson's had to really put his head down. Usually he pops through that hole.
Well, this is Jafer's 39th varsity game. He's got a lot of experience. His first game, 1993 as a freshman, he gained 10 carries on 96 yards, leading Fordson to the state title.
Yeah, they're no strangers to big games. But either is 66, apparently. He's pumped.
Brian Schwessing says, not this carry. He got a piece of Jafer on that carry.
Yeah, boom, got through there. A little stunned. Probably confused the offensive line. Yeah, you see him talking to him back in huddle. I go, yeah, see, I saw it coming. 2nd
down and 13 now. The ball spotted at the 31-yard line.
Yeah, tough defense down there. You're looking at him, number 76, 77 there. Digging it in. You're down on our turf now.
Same set for Fordson as we've seen throughout the ball game. It's going to be the ender on Nicholas Smith. Read well by Todd Vaselli, John Beecher. Look at that pile. John Glenn says, no way.
That's a tough play to call around that time. I mean, you're dealing with a short field as it is, so your defenders can really stay home. They don't have to worry about much field behind them, and it was played well. I mean, you had two guys over on the Glenn defense that didn't get sucked up, and it's just when that happens, you're not doing something right. You know, I mean, I could see one guy staying home, but two guys were staying home. Somebody looked like a tight end on that side didn't take a man out or something.
So this will bring up 3rd down and 20 now for the Tractors. Clock continues to run, coming up on 1 minute 30 seconds to play.
Yeah, I was looking at the flag out there, and it's blowing pretty good. So, I mean, you'd have to be down back basically probably a 30-yarder tops today going into that win.
Passing situation, they've completed a 34-yarder earlier in the game. Smith wants end zone. No, he's going short side. Ortiz can't come up with it. Great defensive play by Dave Jarrett.
Yeah,
for a minute there, Rob, Smith looked like he wanted the end zone.
Yeah, well, first of all, he could have had it if he got the ball, but that's tough to do when you're scrambling. So he said, all right, threw it up. Receiver came back to the ball, but the defender closed a lot quicker than that.
It's now an interesting situation. Now 4th and 20 from the 38. You're talking 55-yard field goal.
Bury him. They don't have that much time. But maybe they're not going to. I mean, this, you know, yeah, they're going to bury him. You got to.
So Phillips will punt.
See,
There is no receiver back to return.
You might on the snap.
Phillips, pooch kick.
You know, that's a type of punt that a punter will practice like that. I mean, you know a type of rotation you can get in a ball a certain way. A lot of times when you see a punter like that shank one, it's not because he's not good. I mean, punters try. I mean, how many times in the backyard when you turn the ball a certain way, you can get it to go high. If you turn the point straight, you can get it to go spiral. Try to get a ball that's going to bounce like that.
There's definitely a creative art to even pooch kicking and trying to pin a team deep. This is a 32-yard punt, so he did get some average on this one, but when you punt the football, you don't look for your average. You look to just get the better advantage of the other team.
Yeah, you can get a 4-year ride to U of M if you want, if you're a good punter. So there must be something in it.
So they're backed up to the 7-yard line. Glenn, 1:03 to play.
I think Fordson's got a couple timeouts, so this is a big play. I mean, it's not totally...
Looks like Barron's just going to knee it down. But he better be careful because of the fact of where he is backed up. They're now backed up to the 5-yard line.
Both coaches are just going to let it go out. That's not, 8-8. Hey, you can't ask for anything worse, I guess, than that.
And that apparently seems to be the case. Glenn doesn't want to come to the line too soon. They're going to let the clock burn.
They can't wait for the halftime festivities. So.
Well, the Glenn marching band is here. The crowd is out. On a beautiful day for football.
Yeah, we didn't get to say that. Well, we did kind of get to say that a lot this year. I mean, we covered some really good games. We saw a lot of mega games. We're starting to see a lot of Western Lakes Conference games. I mean, we were able to see a lot of different types of football. Hey, LO11's there. If it's hot, it's there.
So the final 10 seconds will burn. And we'll go into halftime. Dearborn Fordson and John Glenn knotted up at 8.
That's a 2-quarter game.
Fordson scored in the first quarter. John Glenn answered. Story of the game, Fordson, 6 penalties, Glenn none. 4 fumbles in the game, 3 for Fordson, 1 for Glenn. Exciting football game between Dearborn Fordson and John Glenn. We're knotted at 8 here. We get set to start the third quarter. Rob, so far we've seen Kamal Jafer for Fordson. He's been explosive when he gets into the open field. Kind of a lunch pail type of ball carrier. So far, Fordson, they haven't really used the passing game much. They've stayed basically with the same set of offense. On the other side, John Glenn, they had trouble breaking down their offensive line just at the start of the game. Justin Barron's already been sacked 3 times. But the plus on the side is that when Glenn needs the big play, they come up with it time and again.
Yeah, and you know what you try, unfortunately, you try to eliminate having to come up with the big play. I mean, a picture-perfect offense, as somebody where you've got a nice 3rd and short, getting good yardage on first down. There's a lot of things you look at in the first half that the average fan or even us up here in the booth don't see. That how well are we doing on first downs? What are we doing? 8 we had the ball 10 times. We threw the ball 6 to 4 running. We do better running. You start to coach your team now and start saying, oh yeah, well let's we seem to be doing good at this or seem to be doing good at that. Both coaches, I'm sure, at halftime were absolutely pleased with their teams. They couldn't get on them at all about penalties because like we said, they were early. and they've been pretty much non-existent, or actually a non-existent factor. So, you know, it just comes down to a 2-quarter game. It's 8-8. Everybody's on the same length, and just keep the intensity you had in the first half.
So far, penalties have been the big story of the game, but they've only been on one side of the football. Dearborn Fordson, 6 penalties. John Glenn, none.
Yeah.
So far, basically fundamentally sound. John Glenn, they've been there, but like we said before, Justin Barron has 3 sacks, so the offensive line got to step it up again for the second half. Now, an interesting thing, John Glenn's defense, they shut down Catholic Central last week. The entire second half, no points. This week, maybe a bit of a different story, although Catholic Central and Dearborn Fordson, they look one and the same almost.
Yes, definitely, and it takes a couple things. Deep defense.
That ball's going to rest on the 1-yard line. Jafer is going to have to field it. He takes it, bumped by Vaselli, gets across to the 20, fumbles the football, and the Tractors recover. So another fumble for Fordson that they recover on their own.
It looked like the ground caused that fumble, but they basically called it a fumble. And, you know, that was a fumble early in the first half. It looked like the ground caused it. And, again, it was no big deal. But the refs called that a fumble. Anyways, yeah, kind of a weird play. They had them down, just sort of got all those defenders, like 5 of them there, but they sort of got overzealous. Let the runner get to the outside. It didn't really look like much, but they let the runner break containment and get to the outside, even though the play started so weird. Not good.
So Fordson, 1st and 10 from their own 22. Jay for the deep back. He's going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage, maybe a loss of 1. Leading the way, Nick Nishwat, number 40.
Yeah, you talk to a lot of coaches, and probably the percentage would sway 60-40 or so. A coach likes to start on defense for some reason. Your defense, to me, is what controls the destiny of your team through your game. How many times do you say you win with defense, and you win in the playoffs with defense? So.
It's third time and again, defense wins championships.
Yep, any sport. Look at the Pistons. Their 2 years, they didn't kill people, but they just suffocated them, which this year's Pistons, if I may add, are doing a good job. Good defensive play.
2nd and 10. Split receivers now for Fordson. New look. Jafer, the ball carrier, wrapped up. Maybe a couple. Gets to about the 25, 26-yard line.
Nothing fancy, just a little off tackle. Let the play develop. A lot of times you tell your running back, you don't have to get through that hole. What you have to do is sort of pick and choose your way, because you've got one man, you can go the inside or the outside. When you go up between the tackles, you just have to put your head down and hope to get a crack. But when you go towards the end in the tackle, you got a lot more opportunity to bounce it out, and that's where the defense really plays a big. You see those big defensive end, they say, just stand up and get your shoulders straight.
3rd and 6, Smith on a rollout, looks for Nicholas Smith towards his way. Nishwan forces the fumble. John Glenn recovers.
I don't know. It looked like his arm was a little bit in motion, but I'll give it to Glenn. But that quarterback has a good case of saying his arm was started in motion.
Nonetheless, John Glenn forces the 5th fumble for Dearborn Fordson. This time, Glenn comes up with the recovery inside the 30-yard line.
Yeah, that was Carlo Smith. He's really not saying much. He got hit pretty good. But the reason he got hit good, he's in that position where his arm was back and he was going to, or I guess wasn't going to throw it. But, hey, nonetheless, the turnover caused by the defense because they put the pressure on. Oh, you can't ask for better than that.
26-yard line, 1st and 10 for John Glenn. Jared and Moranti to the near side as receivers. Hartwood to the far side. 1 in the backfield. Gibson, I don't know what Gibson was thinking that time. He ran into his own guy and just fell down.
I don't think he really had much choice. He got the ball looked up, although he should have been looking the whole way. But the pressure going into that John Glenn backfield, and they're just picking up where they left off before, forcing John Glenn to come up with those, like you said, big 3rd down plays. And as a coach, those will kill you.
2nd down and 12. Gibson lost 2 on the carry. Gibson doesn't run like a Reggie Spearman. Gibson's more or less straight ahead, punishing power type runner.
He's got some moves though inside, and that's nice. That's usually that's what gets you over the hump there. Good call.
Barron's going to call a quick TO here.
Good call. He probably read the defense. They had it covered well, because it didn't look like there was any miscommunication at all with them. And the coach is going to clap his hands and say, "Yeah, you're the leader on the field. That's what you're supposed to do."
So with 9:47 to play in the 3rd quarter, John Glenn in a big turnaround off a turnover inside Tractor territory at the 28-yard line, faced with a 2nd and 12 in a tie ball game.
Yeah. This is what it's all about right here. This is what you remember the most. When these guys get together 20 years from now, they're going to talk about the Fordson game and you know, stuff like that. And it's good to be a part of it. And, you know, like I said, every minute that goes by with these two coaches, the more and more respect you get from your players.
Interesting note, number 9, Steve Hester, who missed the majority of the season with an injury, was dressed for this game and was out on taking warm-ups, so that was good to see him back in uniform. Reggie Spearman, we haven't seen him yet. He's on the field for maybe a couple of plays.
And, you know, Dearborn's got a, you know, they don't have one high school. Remember that. I mean, to get a team this far with this much talent.
2nd and 12. Barrett drops, throws across, double covered. Hartwig can't hang on to the football.
He got up there and he did what he had to do. He had the size and he used it. It was a well-thrown ball. Might have been distracted just a little bit because he had to go up between two guys, but you hate to see the ball hit the hands and then come out because you always feel like you should have been able to bring it in.
So bring up a 3rd and 12, a possible passing situation here for John Glenn. 3 receivers in the game.
I'm looking down the Class AA regions, and it's possible that Walled Lake Western is on the horizon for the Glenn Rockets.
Well, they've played John Glenn
But
twice.
that's all I'm going to say.
Right. 3rd and 12. Barrett, rollout. Got to watch behind him. Near side, nice catch, Dave Jarrett makes the catch. 16-yard line. That's going to be close to the first down.
It's not good enough. He came back to the ball. He's about 5 yards, or looks like they're going to give him a great spot. That's a great spot.
Tremendous
Anyways,
spot at the 15.
you notice that Barrett's rolling out a lot more. And that could be one of the things that the staff does when they go in the locker room to say, all right, to alleviate that pressure, we'll have you roll out. It doesn't change the offense that much. It just puts a little bit more pressure on the quarterback because now he's doing 2 or 3 different things that he was. Because how many times have we seen the nice drop-back style? Because of his size, he's able to do that. But, hey, that's one of the adjustments you got to make.
Jarrett caught the football at around the 15-16. They gave him the forward progress, and then he was dragged back by the defender to about the 17.
Yeah, they gave him a good spot.
So first down for John Glenn. Established on first down the run. Gibson through the middle. Nice run across to the 8-yard line.
Yeah, that's one of those plays again. You know, you just give the ball. You like to call it an off tackle or a little slant or something, but what it turns into is sort of a mini little sweep. And a good running back, will turn it into a good play, and a bad running back will turn it into a bad play. And you get someone that can go lateral like that, and he picks and chooses his hole, and boom, you got one. Kind of a fun play because as a running back, you run the ball, and you see red in front of you. It's good. And then all of a sudden, boom, something will open up, and that's the mark of a good. And then with the weather being it is, allows a play like that to happen.
2nd down and 4 now from the 9. Again, Gibson. Same play across the 5 to the 4-yard line.
Looks like he tackled himself there almost. He was pumped. Again, same sort of play. They're just bringing him out, and he's seen a little crack or a hole, and he's going for it. Because you notice, I mean, he's breaking up the field a good 10 yards from the line of scrimmage, and that's not sort of a planned play. When you have a planned play, it's usually between the tackles, okay? You got 4 basic holes, 1, 2, 3, 4. But when you start going to the outside, all of a sudden that defense, you start spreading that defense out. And look what they keep doing. They keep saying, basically all the motion and stuff's going to the right, and they keep running to the short side. So they must see something.
Glenn with a 1st and goal at the 4. Again, Gibson. This time he was met by Mark Ortiz, number 13.
Same play, just a little pitch. But from our angle, it was perfect because we're looking from, straight down at the goalpost. And there was a hole there, a cut-back hole. Looked like that's where the running back was going.
Well, the 3rd time wasn't a charm for Gibson on that carry.
They seem to do good, though, on these 2nd and 3rd downs where they're faced, with having to make up the big play. And, it's nice when you got the size on the outside like Glenn has, the receivers, you can go up for those balls. And, this is, again, we're getting down to that part of the field where you start to eliminate part of the field, and the defense has a lot easier time.
2nd and goal from the 5. Barrett, far side, Hartwig. Touchdown, John Glenn. He got 1 foot down, and when he caught the football, Lou Hartwig, a 5-yard touchdown catch. John Glenn takes the lead. Yeah,
that was a nice play, and I mean, as I bet you the defensive coordinator for Fordson called that play, but it doesn't matter. It's the kind of play where you say, hey, this is what we're going to do, and we got, we practice it and practice it. A lot has to do with how the ball is thrown, but even more important, almost 99% of the time, a play like that is successful because of the receiver going to the ball, seeing the ball, and reacting to it.
Justin Barrett and Lou Hartwig hook up once again. This time it was for a touchdown catch to the far side of the field. Hartwig got 1 foot in. Gives John Glenn the 14-8 advantage. Steve Paling on for the extra point. It's up and good, so John Glenn leads now 15-8.
Well, excellent drive. Excellent drive. A couple of times they got to their third downs, and they had to, and they had to make the big play again. Like you're saying, you want to eliminate having to do that, but, I mean, you want to be able to make it and have the confidence that you can make it. Nothing big. There was really no big play on that drive. Just they went, the last 5 times, just a little mini sweep to the left, and when it works,
if anything, Dave Jarrett's catch was the integral part to keep the drive going.
But you're in that, you get in that defensive coordinator gets in the huddle with his defense and says, look, they got people who can tie it up real quick. So, yeah, you got the lead, but...
So, Glenn, they opt to go for the extra point with the lead instead of a possible 2-point conversion, but nonetheless, it is a 7-point lead.
I would be willing to bet that the yardage per carrier play probably goes Fordson's way. They have had big plays and big chunks, have not gotten the end zone compared to the Glenn-type game, which we've seen all year long. Just let's take what they give us, and if we get a big play, we get a big play. If not, we'll just keep control of the ball.
Glenn, they've taken control of the game since early in the second quarter, much to the chagrin of the Fordson penalties. Jafar this time lets it go through the end zone. Touchback, John Glenn forces Fordson to start at the 20.
Kind of a good play. No need. The ball's on the goal line. It's not like you're going to get that much yards. You'll get back maybe to the 20, and we're at the 20 right now, so,
So with 7:21 to play in the third quarter, the Tractors take over.
Yeah, here's where that home field advantage starts to come in a little bit when you get the crowd behind you. And it's a pretty vocal crowd today. It's a good crowd.
The Tractors come out with their basic run-type set. And that Glenn defense is pumped after the last series, which they recovered a fumble. Schaefer through the middle. Look out. Ring tackles. Glenn forces another turnover. Dave Jarrett strips Kamal Schaefer of the football. John Beecher recovers. That's the 6th fumble by Fordson. 2nd straight recovery by John Glenn.
That was a great run, and that's what we said after that. Man, with the way that Fordson could play offense, and if they can stay away from the mistakes.
Well, Fordson, they're shooting themselves in the foot. Time and again, 6 penalties and 6 fumbles, 2 turnovers, both here in the third quarter. A big turnaround within the last 7 seconds. Justin Barrett sets up shop with the Glenn troops at the 32-yard line. 3 receivers. Do they want to throw it down the gut of Fordson now or wait? Gibson on the carry. Doesn't go anywhere.
Yep. Defender got in there again, and I think I've seen that a lot of time this game, that on that first down they only get a yard or 2. It seems like they've had a 2nd and long for a long time, and they haven't really gotten much on first downs.
And John Glenn, they have the utmost competition to play in these playoffs this year. Last week they played the 95 state champs in Catholic Central. This week they play the 93 state champs in Dearborn Fordson.
We probably got a few guys that were freshmen on that team that just like Glenn. I mean, that they get this way by being able to play on programs like both of these.
Barrett with the a la Dan Marino step. Quick drop. Barrett, he's got to hurry. He's going to be sacked for the 4th time.
Yeah, you know what? You look down there at Hartwig, number 2. You try to tell your receivers he knows what the play is. The play was well covered by the defender, and you almost tell a receiver when you know it's obvious that you might want to make a break or something. Break your pattern, because Barrett had enough time to throw sort of a release pass, but because of the way that play was planned, it was planned to go to him all the way. That was it. And if a smart receiver would break it real quick, knowing that there's no way, that guy had him covered.
So
Lynn Stallworth used to do it a lot. Lynn Swan used to do it.
We'll bring up a 3rd and 15 now, coming up on 5:45 to play third quarter. The rush is there. Barrett across the middle. Hartwig tried to one-hand it. Incomplete, so brings up 4th down. It would be a 53-yard field goal.
Just bury him.
So Chet Rees will come on to punt.
Oh, that's big. That's big for Fordson right now. They, the way Glenn was running the ball and the way they were playing, they could have really put the hurt on him with that. So it's like nothing happened.
This is much more than less a 2-minute throwaway, a kill of time between possessions. Rees to kick. Good kick, Jafer. Fair catch, 7-yard line.
You're right in that sort of no man's land.
Probably a 13-yard difference there if he'd let the ball roll, but
now,
plus to get pinned or even more.
Yeah, but at 7 yards, you got to know where you're at when the ball's kicked. So I'm sure he knew where he was at. Just wanted the ball, didn't want any bad mistakes. And like I said, you hate to see a game be swayed like that because the Fordson offense definitely explosive, and you'd like to see him come out and really make a game of it here. And then it's not by far over, but you hate to stay away from you just stay away from those turnovers.
1st and 10 from the 7. Jay for the ball carrier. It's to about the 10-yard line. Interesting to note, other games in the regions of Class AA, Region 1, Rockford's at Lansing-Sexton today. Region 2, Walled Lake Western, like we talked before, they're at Brighton. And in Region 4, Utica-Eisenhower against Sterling Heights-Stevenson.
Good teams.
I believe, if I'm not stand corrected, Region 4 would play Region 1 in the semis, Region 3 would play Region 2. So Fordson Glenn would play the winner of Walled Lake Western Brighton.
Yeah, we know what happens then. Tasting turkey.
2nd and 7, Jafer, far side, got a hole. Cross to the 13-yard line.
Yeah, and you really kind of feel sorry for a coach like Jeff Stragalis because he's got a great program, got great kids. Yeah, you just want to stay away from the turnovers, and that could kill you every time.
Let's bring up a 3rd down. Coming up on 4:30 to play in the 3rd quarter.
They're bringing a lot of personnel in and out, in and out, in and out.
Well, if you look for Fordson to pass on this situation, keep number 21, Nicholas Smith, in mind.
This isn't a bad situation to be in, 3rd and 5.
3rd and 4, Smith on the rollout. Looks for great anticipation. The pass was intended for Smith, 21. Ortiz was in the area, but Dave Jarrett, Todd Vasili, Nick Hudson were in the area to kill it.
That's a great, that's a fun play to watch because you got bodies diving in front of the ball. It hit the guy, I think, right in the face mask. He didn't expect the ball to get through, but the play was open early. The quarterback had to step up. That play was open a little bit early. I think he probably would have liked to have gotten it to him. He would have definitely had the 1st down, but then he had to wait for it to develop a little further, and by that time, it was just basically almost like a Hail Mary throw.
So Gibson and Morandi will return the punt back deep. Phillips will line up in his end zone.
Yeah, just get it out. Nice, tight, high punt.
Actually, at the goal line to line up. 4th down kick. From the 45, it's Gibson. Wrapped up, he's going to lose a couple, so
Good
Glenn
play.
will set up about the 47-yard line.
Good play. Get the ball. Don't let it bounce. There's a lot of green. That ball can bounce. Just grab it and take a little thump there. Yeah, we saw him get the ball down. The down before this, I saw him something do that they don't really normally do, and that's have to throw a couple times. So, coaches got to get back into that sort of mode. Find something that works and go for it.
3:59 to play 3rd quarter. John Glenn, their 2nd consecutive possession in tractor territory, this time at the 47-yard line. Score, John Glenn 15, Dearborn Fordson 8.
It'd be nice to put some points on the board here. They got the wind at their back. Like you said, they could probably get down 35, 25, 30, 35-yarder isn't at all that hard to do.
Gibson met at the line of scrimmage, then carries the 2nd effort.
So it looked like there for a second there, when he bounced off, he had to remember what direction he was to run in, and I think the defense got a chance
good thing he
to get
didn't
out
pull a
of
Jim Marshall and go the wrong way.
So it looked like he was doing it. He had to sort of stop and go, all right, you got hit pretty good there. Stayed on his feet, though.
2nd down and 8, 2 yards for Gibson on the carry.
This is playing sort of into Fordson's hand here. I mean, Glenn had the momentum. They had it going into the locker room. They came out and got it. Fordson stops them here, and they get back into that tit-for-tat type, punt the ball and field position offense, and you're letting them right back in the game.
Morandi and Hartwig split as receivers. Morandi to the near side. Barrett, play action. He's got to get it off in a hurry. He does, looks for John Beecher. It's incomplete.
Got the pressure in the backfield. That's nice to do, because that, you tell your DBs, all right, you could give them a couple extra yards because we're getting back there and we're having them to hurry. And a lot of these plays depend on the offensive line holding off that defense. And again, I bet you Barrett's got probably at least 10 hurries. I mean, he's thrown the ball a lot, probably 20, 25 times. And a lot of those balls have been hurries.
Definitely has been pressured more times than not today. And that's something he's not used to. He's used to getting a lot of time to throw the football.
Well, on that one drive, they went and scored. He rolled out 2 or 3 times, which got him a lot of help. See if they go back to that. Back to these 3rd and longs, your favorite play.
Yep, brings up a 3rd and 8. Barrett, same play action, across the middle. Hartwig's there, off his fingertips, maybe uncatchable.
There you go. There you go. Fordson's digging on that big time right now. It's like, all right, they're starting to slowly take away. And with the running attack they got, a big play can happen in one time.
Number 70, Mark Dugas, limps off for John Glenn.
It's basically what you'd like to do when you're on the road and that. It's like, let's play even with them. Let's play even with them. Unless you're by far better, but let's play even with them and just hope that, when the time comes, we got the ball.
3:01 to play. Chet Rees will punt from his 40. Back deep, Jafer's about his 13-yard line. Rees, a good kick. Jafer calls for the fair catch.
I bet you he saw the spin on that ball. That spin was gonna take that ball into the end zone. You could tell.
12-yard line.
But hey, they picked up 7 yards from the last. So you gotta like that. You didn't let them score, and if you keep the offense off the field, you got a good chance on the road. Having momentum on the road is really good compared to having the momentum at home. You almost expected to have the momentum at home, but you get momentum on the road, and that's tough. That's tough to defend against, because all of a sudden your home team defenders start, second thinking themselves. They got the crowd behind them. Everybody's on them.
2:54 to play. 1st and 10 for the Tractors. Jafer, nice big hole. Todd Vaselli slips the tackle. Jafer runs into his own man, then is redirected about the 26-yard line.
Huge holes. Huge holes. If I had to sum up this so far up to this game, I'd say huge holes for Fordson. They're opening them up big, and the running backs are just breezing through those holes.
That's the 2nd time we've seen Todd Vaselli key in on Jafer and then was forced to miss because Jafer's quickness.
Yeah, he's got some good moves.
Player slow to get up for Fordson. Can't see who exactly it is. I think it's number 4. Number 4 is Musa Faraj.
Probably out there throwing the block.
11 officials,
tangled up.
11 officials timeout here. Comes with 2:44 to play in the 3rd quarter.
I mean, we've seen the way Fordson's able to run the ball in the size of the holes they have. And like we said, play after play, Glenn had that confidence going. They had the momentum. They were getting the turnovers, and all of a sudden, it's kind of, you can see it's kind of back 10, something like this. I mean, the longer you wait, the harder it gets to get back up there, except for a turnover.
So for nearly the last 5 minutes, both teams have traded possessions in more what we talked about, more or less a throwaway. John Glenn, the last 2 times they've knocked on the door, but haven't come up with any big play.
Yeah, and the players know that. Like I said, just keep it within, so that we're in the game, late in the game, especially on the road, because it gets tougher and tougher as you get down, and we've seen that before. At home, in a close game.
So play resumes. 1st and 10 for Fordson at the 26-yard line. Ortiz to the top of the screen. Nicholas Smith to the bottom. Jafer on a run play. Through the middle. Nice hole. Nice gaping hole. Marlon McClendon is there to make the tackle.
Put 2 hands on the ball that time, too. That's smart.
43-yard line.
But we've seen it like that. They're definitely able to control that line of scrimmage. Taking the chunks out. Don't get too excited. Do what works.
Spot the ball at the 42-yard line. Jafer has 34 yards on this drive, 2 carries.
He's definitely carrying like we anticipated he would. Carrying the load. Gets back there deep. Reminds me of those USC days. With all the greats out of there.
Coming up on 2:10 to play third quarter. Jafer once again met at the line of scrimmage, then pushed back. Maybe a couple on this carry, met by Sean Hurd, Matt Griglio.
Yeah, they got a little energy going there, a little same sort of play. The hole wasn't there. The linebackers closed real quick on him, but you know, you got to be careful. Like, the linebackers probably cheated a little bit. You know, all you got to do is play action a little bit and suck those linebackers up, and it's going to open up a quick little hitter. But it's when to do it. I mean, just because one play was stopped doesn't mean that they're going to, you know, they're going to bite.
Gain of 3 for Jafer, 2nd and 7 now from the 46. Jafer slipped in the backfield.
Yeah, give the tackle to the quarterback on that one. It tripped him up.
Carlos Smith and Jafer, a bit of miscommunication.
That hurts. As he's down.
And Jafer is down. He's slow to get up.
It's very easy the way he's getting up. It could have went kneecap to kneecap or something like that, because the way he sort of flipped over looked like he wasn't tripped. He sort of flipped, and it could be just a big old Charlie horse.
Well, he's definitely in discomfort on the field. Took his helmet off. A couple of trainers out there to assist him.
He'll probably pop up. Just a little numbing. Come back, get up off the field, take a couple plays off, and he'll be back in. He's got to be back in. I mean, he doesn't have to be back in, but...
Well, not for John Glenn, but for the Tractors, number
yeah.
38 is an integral part of this offense. Definitely a key part.
Yeah, so you know, you get in that defensive huddle over there with the guys, and you know, you want to talk defense. Get your captain over here. Looks like he's going to be able to get up, but it's stinging, boy. It's stinging, I bet. It's a nice little Charlie horse there.
Gets up, he's favoring his right leg.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if they hit higher than ankle to ankle, because the way he kind of flipped over.
He's not putting too much weight on there. He's going to shake it off, though.
The knee. The old knee. He'll probably run off before he gets off, you watch.
So he'll come out for one play.
Yeah, the face of the 3rd and long here. Sort of a nice play for the defense. Kind of hang back there, maybe get an INT here. Get on the stat sheet.
So if you're Fordson now, the challenge is up to converting this 3rd down play. 3rd and 8 from the 44. Phillips in the backfield, 2 receivers to the top of the screen. Ortiz the farthest. Smith on the rollout. Across the middle. Intercepted like you called, Rob. Nick Hudson on the interception. He's got room to run. Rob, you got to go to Vegas, man. Right. That was perfect call.
Well, I mean, it was well executed. Good block by the, if anything was good out of there, number 44, Dave Phillips got a good block in there, which gave the quarterback time, but he just threw it into a crowd. And when you got a 3rd and long like that, I mean, to throw it down the middle, especially the way Glenn's going to play with the lead and a 3rd down, they're going to be real soft. And, you know, your eyes just light up when the quarterback basically telegraphed the pass. So it really wasn't anything big. And it was sort of, I mean, they're not that bad. Still, it'd be worse if they were down closer to the goal line. So it was 3rd down anyways.
3 straight turnovers for Dearborn Fordson here in the 3rd quarter. John Glenn takes over 1st and 10 at the Tractors' 42. Through the middle, it's Antonio Gibson. He's stuffed.
Watch the ankle, watch the knee there. He went down kind of funky, but...
Gets to about the 37, 38-yard line.
Yeah, you hate to see that. They had a good little drive going there. They got to capitalize on these turnovers. Man, it's just getting to that point now where, you know, that's something that can come back to bite you. I mean, you're getting the chances in that, you know, if you don't get down there and get some points out of it. And they're going to run out of wind here in about 23 seconds.
So John Glenn with a 2nd and 6 now from the 38. They're trying to establish the run game on these first 2 downs. Sean Hurd.
It's good.
Wrestled toward the 35. The forward progress will give him that.
I've seen Sean get some good runs today, and I really haven't seen much of him. They seem to be doing good when they go right at the defensive line fast. I mean, when you come up against a very aggressive, big defensive line, running right at them usually seems to do better than trying to run around them.
Well, we're through 3 quarters of play here at Irma Kionka Field. John Glenn 15, Dearborn Fordson 8. The story of this quarter, Dearborn Fordson's 3 turnovers. We'll flip sides and start the 4th quarter with John Glenn knocking on the door. They'll have a 3rd down and 5 from the 35 when we return on LO11 Sports on Continental Cable Vision.
It starts the 4th quarter, 4 extra downs, and now all of a sudden, man, you start tasting it a little bit down in the line, in the trenches. You start tasting it a little bit.
Well, the attitude for John Glenn here, Rob, is you've got to get points, like you said, off these turnovers, especially now. They're in that territory. They're in Steve Paling's field goal range at least.
Yeah, the wind died a little bit here, but it kind of comes and goes and gets up like that. And that might have a bearing on how you approach, being in the area of the 20 to 30 yard line when normally it would be a for sure field goal. And all of a sudden you have to start thinking about that wind and the elements here. Yeah, because a field goal would be real big right now. I mean, Fordson's able to move the ball, but we haven't seen much of a passing game. So, and that really looks good unless they're doing a really good job of disguising it. But you basically know, Coach Gordon knows this team now.
1st and 10 from the 30. That's Hartwig in motion. Barrett the toss in the backfield to Gibson. Across the 30, spins his way around to the 27. They're establishing the running game on 1st down, trying to work that to their advantage so they don't have to pass too much, it appears. It's
fun to sit up here and watch because you can see how the coaching staff is thinking, and you notice that they seem to have real good luck going just outside the tackles and just those little mini sweeps and able to pick it up. I mean, you don't want to burn it too much. You get Sean in that backfield there. Big number 35, give him the ball, and those quick hitters, he's getting 2-3 good yards.
2nd and 7 from the 27. Barrett, short throw. Hartwig makes the catch. Shakes to about the 25-24 yard line.
That's a big play. You're putting a guy out one-on-one, man-on-man, and, they've probably been reading that play out. It's the first time we've seen him throw that play all game. A little quick hitter. And whether the coaching staff's seen it or the receivers coming back to the huddle every time saying, man, the guy's giving me 7 yards. All I got to do is step over the line and hit me. You've got the size of Parent. He's able to get up. When you don't have a tall quarterback, he's got to go deeper in the pocket. You get a guy like Barrett with 6'3", 6'4", he can just get the arm over there.
3rd down and 5 now from the 25.
See, you look at the DBs. They're giving them a good 5 to 7.
Same set, Hartwig in motion.
He's calling it every time.
Barrett, far side, Jarrett makes the catch. 1st down, John Glenn inside the 20, about the 19-yard line.
I wouldn't be surprised if the coaching staff's bringing that guy in motion. And when they bring that guy in motion, if the defensive back guy and the wide receiver stays the 5 to 7, he automatically goes, almost like an unspoken audible. If the guy comes up, because on the defense, when a guy comes in motion like that, the defender's got to come up and play a little tighter on him, even though he is one-on-one, because they're hitting those little button hooks on there. So it's more or less now becoming Barron's his job to read the defense. The coaching staff looks like they're giving him a lot of leeway out there, because you see when he's coming in motion, he's looking out here. He's looking out that way towards the receiver to read it.
9:45 to play, 4th quarter. John Glenn knocking on the door, 1st and 10 from the 18. Gibson through the middle. Nice run by Antonio Gibson to the 11.
They beat the blitz on that play. It looked like the linebacker number 4 shot through there, would have had him, but just shot through the wrong hole. It looked like it was like a little blitz there that they burned. Oh, this is big. This is big.
So Barrett comes to the sidelines. Paul Morandi joins him in the offensive set.
Yeah, they're mixing it up real well. He's reading the defenses real well, and you love to be able to have the opportunity. I mean, you got a quarterback that's just a junior, isn't he? He's got another year to go.
Justin Barrett.
You like to see this kind of development.
2nd down and 4 from the 12. Toss, Gibson. To the outside, shakes, Gibson. Still goes. 1st and goal, John Glenn from the 5.
You know what? It didn't look like he wanted to juke to the outside, but he just said, to heck with it, man. We're going. I'm going right over him. If he's going to tackle me, he's going to tackle me.
Antonio Gibson looks like he's becoming more of a threat as he carries the ball, much less his first carry to his 10th carry.
Again, and
he's gotten stronger.
And look at it. I mean, just like the quarterback, he's a junior. Coach Gordon he's just setting it up for next year.
As is Antonio Gibson, a junior as well, so two key guys will be back once again for John Glenn in
Plus, he's
97.
got Reggie for 2 years.
Gibson again, through the hole, strips, touchdown, John Glenn, Antonio Gibson, 5 yards.
Yeah, this is how you win ball games right here. They took advantage of the turnover. They got the momentum back, a nice drive.
That's
And
Gibson.
they started this at the beginning of the quarter. They've taken about 5 minutes off that clock. And you're forcing Fordson now into a game plan where you can tell that it's just not their game plan. They're more of a running control, big chunk offense, and they got to put the ball up, and we see what happens there.
8:26 to play fourth quarter. Antonio Gibson, his second touchdown run, this one of 5 yards. Steve Paling on for the extra point.
Yeah, those last two plays where I think the defense is getting a little tired there.
It's up, and it's good. So John Glenn extends their lead now 22-8. This is one thing we've seen, Rob. John Glenn, they just don't go to one particular part of their offense. When the passing game is on, it's there. He's had 3 different receivers to throw to. When that doesn't work at all times, he goes to the running game, and Coach Gordon uses Reggie Spearman, Antonio Gibson, Sean Hurd. You've got 3 different types of runners there, too. So this is not just a one-dimensional offense.
No, see, that breeds success right there. I mean, it is nice to have a one-dimensional type offense. I mean, to rely on it like a Fordson does. I mean, I'm not saying they're not, but all we've seen today was basically one running back doing most of the work. That's great if you can stay away from penalties and turnovers. And I'm sure there's a lot of times that he has won ball games for him throughout the season. But when you have the luxury of having, to be able to call plays like Coach Gordon does, and that all comes from coaching. That all comes from coaching, man.
Of the 22 positions filled by John Glenn players at the start, 15 are seniors. So there's definitely a turnover between the juniors and seniors. Coach Gordon's always got somebody stepping up to the task. The next season, he just keeps rolling these players into positions, keep going in and out. The talent is definitely there for him. Taken by Smith inside the 10. He's got a hole. It's going to be wrestled down. That's Brian Schwessing, number 66. Wraps him up, but a good return to the 33-yard line.
He looked like he was trying to pitch it to one of his players. Okay, you got to get in the huddle. You got to say one thing. You basically have just eliminated probably a good almost 3/4 of your playbook here. I mean, you got to score twice, and you've got about 8 minutes. I wouldn't say 3/4 of it, but the defensive coach now for Glenn, it was a little easier job. You can start playing a little soft defense, bend, don't break. Definitely have time on their side. Just don't give up the big play. And as long as they keep running the football, let them run it. Let them get 5 to 7 a crack. No problem. Keeps the clock running.
The Glenn sideline player says, let's get into it. They're getting into it. And here's a different play, complete to the tight end, number 86, Robert Saleh.
Now, don't you just hate this as a coach to see that? I mean, I don't think we've seen him throw to the tight end, or they maybe have tried, but they haven't completed. He was pretty wide open. He's a pretty big kid. Once he gets the ball, he gets some yardage.
Saleh goes 6'3", 235.
Yeah, it would be nice to see a sack. They haven't really got in the backfield yet of Fordson, and that's the one thing I think that's let Fordson into this.
Fordson first and 10 from the 47. Schaefer through the middle, cross to the Glenn 47-yard line.
Yeah, you got to get a little quicker in the huddle, get these plays back a little bit quicker. You're almost tempted now to go into the 2-minute. I think they've got all 3 of their timeouts left.
7:45 to play fourth quarter. Fordson trails by 2 touchdowns. They're on the move into Glenn territory. Smith comes as a receiver to the near side. Ortiz to the top of the screen. Phillips and Schaefer in the backfield. Smith to throw. Penalty flag. Across the middle.
Ref said incomplete.
And there is an incomplete throw. We'll have to see who the penalty's on.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I was... Glenn players are saying it's going back.
Illegal motion, 21. I bet you they're going to get 21 Nick Smith for leaving a little too early.
Yeah, trying to get out in that pattern.
That's the 7th flag against Dearborn Fordson today. John Glenn, penalty free.
Yeah, you look at that stat on the bus on the way home. You look at that stat, the turnovers, that one touchdown, last touchdown by Glenn, a direct result of a turnover. They'd be only 1 score down, but that's the way the game is. Very rarely do you go turnoverless. Only once do you go undefeated. all the way through.
3rd down and 6 now from the 48. Smith to throw once again. Looks across the middle, too high, intended for Nick Smith, 21. Now, Rob, they're in that territory where a punt's not going to do them too much good.
No, well, I don't know. What do you got? 7:19. I think if you got all 3 timeouts and it comes to 4th, you might want to get it. You can stop them and get the ball back. But I mean, when you start dealing with only a half a field, bad things can happen to you. It looks like they probably are going to go for it. I mean, they don't have that much. It's only 4th and 6. But that last play, I don't know. The receiver sort of. They're playing like a zone, the defense, and he got into the crease in the zone, but he's sort of lackadaisical about it. Quarterback's got to get the ball there a little quicker.
Smith on 4th down, rolls out, cross, looks for his tight end. He's got enough for the 1st down.
Oh, yeah, plenty, enough. Good call. Came back to the ball a little bit, little rollout just to make sure he got away from the pressure, and there was pressure.
Saleh's 2nd catch on this drive. Both have been for 1st downs. Clock stops, 7:11 to play.
Looks like Glenn called the timeout. No? Yeah, you'd like to get down and score with some good time left, and they're doing a good job of it.
Smith up top, looks, and it's incomplete. Marlon McClendon was defending on the play. Number 38, Kamal Jafer.
Yeah, you know, Jafer all of a sudden turned into a DB there. He had to get up and swat the ball away, or that would have been another INT.
Here's an interesting player, number 5, Marlon McClendon. He's 5'11", 149-pound junior. We haven't seen too much of number 5 this year. He's getting a chance to play, taking the place of Reggie Spearman in the secondary.
Yeah, and, you know, and again, you miss an athlete like that. Reggie's definitely an athlete, and it doesn't matter what he does it good. Especially in the DB, if you've got some speed in the backfield, you can close on the ball quickly.
Also, Steve Waller, number 8, has not played. Nick Hudson is taking his place. Smith across, look complete. Ortiz makes the catch and then stumbles.
And that's, you know what, he's a good receiver. He had 2 things going for him. When he made the turn, he was open. When the ball was thrown, he knew what he was going to do. You could see he had the hands extended, caught the ball correctly, and he was going to turn. If he wouldn't have tripped up, he would have been saying TD right now probably, because he definitely had he could have, when he made that little spin move, he had his guy beat.
Fordson very methodical on this drive. Most of their catches have been for 1st downs. The clock stops in their advantage.
Yeah, and, you know, plus, you know, the Glenn's probably playing a little soft. I mean, you want to be aggressive up in front, but you don't want to let the guy get behind you, and you're going to give up plays like this. You just can't give up the big play.
6.5 to go. Smith looks for the end zone. There's a receiver wide open, but it's going to be picked off by Dave Jarrett in the end zone. He's got a lot of daylight in front of him. Down the sidelines. He's thrown out of bounds at the 32-yard line. A nice return by Dave Jarrett. That's the 4th turnover of the game. There's a penalty flag on the play.
Number 56, I think, knocked this guy over after the sort of was aggressive blocking, I guess you'd say. But I think the ref warned it is probably that's going to tack on 15. That was a strange play. It looked like the quarterback had all kinds of room to run. I thought he was going to tuck it in. It looked like he did it for a second there, and he could have ran that ball probably for a good game, but that's what happens when you throw it up like that.
Nick Smith, number 21, was wide open, thought he had the catch. Dave Jarrett was playing back as the center fielder. The penalties against Dearborn Fordson.
Yeah, he had him if he could have thrown the ball in a rope. But when you throw the ball up like that long, it lets your defense close in on it, and that's what happened.
So John Glenn takes over. 6:14 to play.
Yeah, now it's just a matter of just blocking and running. Big penalty.
4 turnovers in the second half by Dearborn Fordson, along with 8 penalties for the whole game.
Sending some of the Fordson faithful to the exits.
First and 10 from the 47. John Glenn looking to put the nail in the coffin.
Just stay away from the turnover. Nice, basic, high percentage plays. Let the clock run.
Gibson to the line of scrimmage.
So yeah, now it's just basically just hang on to the ball with 2 hands. You get your best player, get it to the big fullback guy, you know. Just keep your hands on the ball when you get hit. If you see daylight, keep going. If not, just go down. Don't have to, you know, it's not like it's the first or second quarter where you got the adrenaline flowing. You don't have to actually get the extra yard. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go 3 and let it punt, you know, play that soft defense. You don't want to give up anything right here.
Kevin Cruz in the game, number 6, as a wide receiver. Gibson again on the ball carry.
Let it run, but then, also you're sort of playing a little bit into the defensive hands. Now, they don't have to call their timeouts, and I think they have all 3 of them, so, you're going to have to probably go 3rd and what? They got about 8 yards to go, but nice if they had maybe 3rd and 4 or something like that. Again, that's easy for me to say.
up here in the toasty warm booth.
I'm up with the coffee and donuts here.
5 minutes to play, 4th quarter. 3rd down and 9 from the 48.
Now, you got to get in the backfield real quick here. I wouldn't, this is your season. I wouldn't be surprised. You can see number 56 sneaking up there.
Short hitch play. Hartley can't hang on.
That wouldn't have been a first down anyways, but you saw the middle linebacker was coming, made no bones about it. They had to say, we're going to give you 3 to 4 seconds. That's it, tops. And that's the only type of play that can really develop in that. You can see the receiver, Hartwig, hitting his chest here saying, yeah, I had it, it was mine.
So the idea of thinking here for John Glenn is just to pin him deep.
You'd like to, I'm sure Chuck Gordon would like to have seen a first down.
4:47 to play. Jafer stands back about his 19 or 18-yard line to receive the kick from Chet Rees. Rees a wobbly kick, take a bounce, and it's in Glenn's favor. Morandi downs it at about the 11, that's the 16-yard line, excuse me.
Yeah, not bad. You got about 4.5 minutes. You got a lot of territory here. You can't have the mental lapse. You can't make that mental mistake here. Don't let anybody behind you. We can see that the quarterback for Fordson, he's got an arm. He can get the ball out there, and usually their most effective play is when he rolls out, buys time, and lets the receiver get down.
So for the last 43 minutes and 24 seconds in the playoffs, John Glenn has shut out their opponents in the second half.
Yeah, they really step it up in the second half, and that's due to good conditioning, good practicing, and basically just the will to want it, plus the home field advantage. I mean, everything plays into.
Jay for the ball carry, but Matt Griglio leads the charge and stops him.
Yeah, running the football, that's probably thought he could catch Glenn's defense just coming straight upfield. That's all you want to tell your defensive lineman now. You don't have to loop, you don't have to do anything, just come straight upfield.
Smith again. Looks for his tight end, Saleh. Outside, no good. And a quick 3rd down situation for Fordson.
Well, you're definitely in a 2-down situation now here, so there's no sense in trying to get it all. That was a great play, a little down and out. He had the ball thrown over the shoulder. Should have been a catch. And you're getting the big guy the ball, too. You get the big guy the ball, and all you got to do is miss one tackle, and he can do some damage.
4:11 to play.
Was that a penalty here? Ooh, not good. That's a big one, too.
So John Glenn penalized for the first time today. Move the ball up to the 31-yard line, a 15-yarder, first down for Fordson.
Yeah, that's big. That's a big call. It gets them out of really immediate danger now. But again, they got to move the chains. They need the big play. We haven't seen really any sort of swing out passes or let Jafar get that ball on the outside.
Smith gives to Jay from the backfield. Sean Hurd wraps him up at the 35.
That's fine. Keep him inside the tackles there, no problem.
Clock continues to run. We'll have to see the short no-huddle offense here from Fordson. 3:50 to go. Smith rolls near side. Flushed. Nishwat's there. Can't knock him loose. John Beecher's there. He shakes him again. He might get intentional grounding here. Smith.
No, you know why? Because of the effort it took him to get there. I think he deserved to throw that one away. He took a couple of good shots, stayed on his feet. Too bad, and it looked a couple times like the receivers were trying to come back to him, but I think he was just so running and disoriented he couldn't have made that play. That play could have turned into something big for Fordson had the quarterback been able to get his composure after that hit.
Definitely a political play for Fordson there. They got the referee's attention. Carlos Smith rids his way from 2 defenders.
Would-be tacklers. Look at a little pinball in there.
3rd and 7 from the 35. Smith. Across the middle, has got a man open. Dave Jarrett was there with Ortiz, but it's incomplete.
He overthrew him. He had him open, had the inside position. If he could have gotten the ball, it would have been 6. But he overthrew it. That's too bad.
3:33 to go, and 4th down. Fordson's got to go for it.
Yeah, he had him on the outside. He had the inside position. Could have, if he would have connected, and again, go back to that turnover.
The only scoring of the second half done by the home team. 7:21 to play in the third quarter. Lou Hartwood caught a 5-yard touchdown catch from Justin Barrett. 8:26 to play in the fourth quarter. Antonio Gibson a 5-yard touchdown run. Smith over the middle. Nice catch by Nick Smith. Eludes a couple of defenders. He's got running room. Dave Jarrett's going to wrap him out of bounds at the 42-yard line of John Glenn. So first down for Fordson. And a penalty flag. John Beecher's down in the middle of the field. Maybe a stupid call for Dearborn Fordson.
Yeah, it looked like he hit him afterwards. I think they were having some words and took some, looked like a cheap shot.
And apparently it was 86 versus 86. I think Robert Saleh was on the hit. He hit John Beecher after the play was over.
It's too bad because a great play is going to come back for Fordson. It looked like, I don't know, maybe not. I mean, when you see a flag go down and a Glenn player on the ground, you automatically assume. Refs are talking it over now. Anyway, so should Glenn, as you can see, leading 22-8.
You can
We're
see
off to the regionals, I take it.
You can see there Nick Nishwat. Coach Gordon is restraining Nishwat. He wants to go after one of the Fordson guys out there. Maybe a little trash talk too, but Coach Gordon says, none of that. He's going to attend to Beecher here. Beecher has not moved. Can hear some people in the crowd. Some vocal people.
Some of the paid didn't like that call. You know, it's like kind of like away from the play, so it really wasn't seen. But boy, they're marching off a big one here. It's a 15.
And as expected, personal foul.
I think he was reaching for sort of his back hip there for a second.
Comes with 3:23 to play in the fourth quarter. Coach Gordon out there talking to the referees.
Yeah, you know, you just want to tell your team that, you know, no, you don't need anything going wrong, because I think if you get kicked out or something, or suspended, or you know, you miss a game or something, he's got too good of a thing going here. He's got this team peaking at the right time. Everybody's doing the right things. I mean, we saw them all year, and they were a little off here, a little off there. They had Reggie all year, who was carrying a lot of their offensive load. You see how much of what this team means now without Reggie Spearman in lineup, man. They came out and played great. You know, they're deep, and teams like that are the teams that go at Turkey at the Dome.
Here comes the big guy, John Beecher. He's off on his own power. Nice thing to see out there. Nick Nishwat and Coach Gordon patch things up there. They're on the same wavelength. You saw a little tap of the hands there. And Nick Nishwat knows exactly what he's got to do for this football team, and that's not to get over-explosive and blow up on the temper.
Yeah.
First and 25 for Fordson from their own 43.
They didn't give the ejection signal.
Ortiz on the catch. Jarrett and Vaselli are going to run him down.
Well, he put a good move on the defender there. Well, he gets the outside. We saw that last week along that far sideline. They just keep running. It's a great play.
So Ortiz makes up big yardage into Glenn territory.
3:11 left. I mean, as a coach, you'd like to see maybe get score around 2 minutes left. You got your timeouts. That defense starts to get a little soft, and then you've seen the speed that this team has. Plus, they never win convincingly, do they, in the playoffs? It's
always exciting. Smith on the catch, first down Fordson, across into the Glenn 25-yard line.
Sure, that coach would like to see him get out of bounds. Hey, now he's stopping the clock.
.303 to play.
Hey, they're in the position right now where they can pop one in right here from this distance. Get on defense, stop them. Keep them out. Now you can get a little tight. You don't have much green left behind you, so you can get up a little tight on them.
Smith rolls, got protection, short pass. Schaefer makes the catch.
You know, this would be a good play. And how many times have we seen it when a team like this is so concentrated? You get like a backside blitz or something, bring a safety in from the backside, and And, you know, I'm sure you'd like to see it. You don't want to get too confident and comfortable down there in that end zone because basically what you're saying is, yeah, all right, we'll bend, but when you get down to the goal line bending, you're going to have to break eventually. So, you know, usually, how many times have you seen a big play where they send a backside linebacker or safety to blitz?
2nd and 6 from the 20. Smith is flushed. Push from behind, another push from behind. Penalty flag is going to be against Fordson. Jafer makes the catch. Rolls and then gets out of bounds with the presence of mind. But you saw number 56 there in the backfield, Rob. He hit Brian Schwessing not once but twice in the back, and that's going to be blocking from behind.
Yeah, you know, again, it negated a great run.
That's Fordson's 10th penalty. And like we've heard from before during the season, Fordson's taken some very, very inept penalties.
Yeah, you know, and that's just from, you know, like we say, you do it all year, and you just hope that when you get down to a situation like this, that you don't do it again. But I mean, what can you do as a coach? You're calling a great game up to now. Fordson coach had the team down there, but they always seem to come back. Luckily, it was that, like, they got a second down left. They still got, you know, I think they got a couple downs left, but that's a big one again. Jeez.
Well, there's 2 flags on the play, so they're going to march it way back.
Looks like they got like 30 yards or
yard
something
line.
there.
We're going to take a quick break here.
Brian Schwessing, John Beecher, 86, going to sack Carlos Smith way back into tractor territory.
Well, they're running out of downs now, and it's like it's going to be third and 40 yards.
The clock continues to run.
Yeah, they had it. Boy, they were sitting in a good position, and that one penalty is really going to hurt them.
Folks, you've never seen too many plays like this. It's going to be 3rd down and 40 from the 45-yard line. Smith throws across.
Receiver fell down. He would have had it. Too bad, because he had some time and he had some room there to move.
So on 4th down, we've got 1:58 to play.
Yeah, he's got to be able to throw the ball 50 yards there. A little draw play maybe, huh?
Well, Jafer wants to get to that open field. You never know. He's definitely got the presence of mind. Follow his blockers. 40 yards, to me, it wouldn't be that big of a difference for him to make up.
No, it wouldn't at all. And you know, this is a good call here by the coaches. Whoever called the timeout, I mean, this is it. If it was for Fordson, this is the last play. I mean, barring any disaster turnovers by Glenn, but I mean, what do you do in a play like this? You want to get the guy the ball while he's running, you know, so he's got at least a chance. A Hail Mary, I don't know, unless the quarterback can throw the ball 50 yards, which I doubt, although he does have a pretty good arm. But you want to do a little 5-yard, little in, get him the ball, maybe a little give and go type play here, some type of trickery, but.
Well, John Glenn knows definitely be in the prevent mode. 40 yards is a lot to make up here, so definitely they could drop as many people as they wanted to. Just say, hey, we'll give you 39, but you're not going to get any more.
That's off to the semis, I think, for John Glenn.
Well, if they do, and it looks like they will, they'll play the winner of Walls Lake Western at Brighton. Brighton, they've got a very, very good team. They've got an excellent quarterback. He was highly touted, was on a pass special. He's been in the press a lot. I believe his last name is Henson. I think his name is Drew Henson. Yeah, I think he threw 59 passes in a ballgame earlier this year for Brighton.
Yeah, and you know what? It's sad. No, I shouldn't say sad, but it's the one thing that I can see with the Glenn defense is that they don't get the pressure on the quarterback. I mean, they play a good defense. I mean, they only gave up 8 points, and that was basically on a really good drive in the first half. They seem to shut everything down. But that's one thing you want to do against a passing Dan Marino type guy is get in his face.
4th down and 40. Smith chased. Ira Barden. Nick Nish was there. John Glenn at home. They will take over.
Yeah, they will run out the clock now.
Rob, we noticed that defense for John Glenn, hard to get going early in the game to figure out, like we said before, the blocking seems the offensive line, but now you see exactly the seniors up front there. They just manhandled Fordson.
Yeah, you know, they go in the locker room, make a few adjustments. They didn't get burned. They stayed away from penalties. They stayed away from turnovers. Basically, what we see all year, and we've always seen from John Glenn, very disciplined teams, and they just let the game work its way out, and they just do their things methodically, and that's how you get to. That's how the good teams get there. They just do the same things right over and over, and they let, like we've seen Fordson, and I would have to say now at this game is that Fordson penalties and the turnovers are what beat them. Other than that, they played a great game. They got a great team, a good running team. They got some huge holes, real good offensive scheme.
Barrett's just going to take the knee. Fordson can stop the clock, I believe, once or twice.
He does that pretty quick. You might want to take your time there and slam that knee down on the ground. You're going to hurt it.
Fordson with 11 penalties, 6 fumbles, 2 interceptions, and they lost 2. So you've got many things on the positive side for them. They sacked Barrett 4 times today, and Kamal Jafer, when he had the open holes, he ran.
Yes. Offensive line did great for Fordson against the defense. It's something we want to work at. You want to tighten up that defense, maybe not throw anything different in there when they go on to the regional now, because they're not going to be at home. So what you want to do is, because you're going to be in a sort of an away type atmosphere, you sort of get into that away type mood. You know, you want to play tight but aggressive. Let's play even until either they make a mistake or we do something better than them. Let's not go out and try to prove to somebody or be flashy or mouthy or trashy. Let's just go as 11 men on the field, do our job, and may the best team win. And again, there's players out there right now for Glenn coming up the line here that have been in this position before, and that helps a lot. And they played a good game. I would have to say that Fordson lost the game more than Glenn won the game.
Definitely a good assumption.
Not that Glenn didn't play good, but yeah, there he is, the big fullback. Yeah. No, Gibson. Looks like a fullback there.
This way to the 44-yard line of Fordson.
Yeah, there's a guy who carried a good load today, number 4 for Glenn. When they needed a couple extra yards, and they needed that, those yardages, and tough yardage, he got the ball and he carried it, showing that he's the man to go to. He'll be there next year. They're going to have a dynamite back 3 back there with Barrett, Gibson, and Spearman back there next year. They're going to be tough defending. You look down the roster here, and you see a lot of juniors that are going to be up in that front line, 6'3", 5'8", 220. Right there, boom, you've got I'm looking down the roster here. Tim, what is that? Mel Jimmy. You got Milan Mansour, Phil Gartone, Adam Sue. Look, all these guys coming back. And they're going to be good. And that's basically what we see. But I'm sure that's not what they're thinking about right now.
Yeah, the task at hand, I think, is just to get this last minute and a half out of the way and then start thinking about watching game film for next week.
And now you look over here at the Fordson roster, and you got to say, there's a good chance that we're going to see these guys again next year, because I was looking down there, they don't have that many seniors going. I mean, the bulk of their roster right here in the middle, they're going, but they've got a lot of juniors that are going to be looking really good next year. And of course, they've got their best. Probably holds a few records. That's great.
Justin Barrett with terrific head count.
You can see their head's just not into it now.
Fordson has been at that all day.
Yeah, and we talked about that at the beginning of the game, and he seems to be getting away with that hard head count, and especially early in the game. And I mean, late in the game like this, you might want to lay off it, because it's something that can be really effective, really depending on your officiating. But that hard head count can really take a team, pick it apart early when they got the juices flowing.
Glenn can pick up another first down here with 4 yards. Gibson's just going to ram it right to Fordson. Take about 5 or 6 guys to get him down.
Stop that clock there. They're going to get the ball back. Okay, looking up in the roster here, they got some pretty good guys, Glenn, coming back next year. It'll be fun to watch these guys. Now they're going to be off to somewhere in the region, vie for that spot to be in the dome. Sunday, I believe. Sunday will be today. Sunday at 8 o'clock.
Game, it will be shown the first time you'll see it is tonight, Sunday, and then the next, the repeat will be Wednesday.
That's what I meant to say.
At 7 o'clock.
A lot of good it doesn't now. Anyways.
This game is being played on Saturday, November 16th.
Ball down there, bury him, make him throw the ball up here and get somebody an interception here.
picked that ball up, which probably would have been a smart move.
The 35 down there, Sean Hurd, touched the ball on the goal line. So 20 yards, 18 yards in front of them. On the left of the play. There's still an outside chance here.
Yeah, all they got to do is break the one play now. They have no timeouts. They'd have to do it in one play, get an onside kick, and do it in another play. But, you know, they got the luxury of throwing the ball. If it's incomplete, it definitely stops the clock. So you got to just get the ball to a receiver on the move.
Into the passing situation. Ira Bargan nails him, but he gets the ball off to Phillips, number 44. Threw his way. Another penalty flag on the play.
Usually in a play like this, it's going to come back because of the misdirection. Someone blocks in the back. Again,
Got nailed by Ira Bargan there.
finally got in the backfield.
Another personal foul slipping. Fordson, 13 penalties.
I think that's just from trying to block somebody, and again, when the play gets misdirected like that and it gets scrambled, you know, you want to tell your offensive lineman, yeah, it's good to block, but you really got to be smart because all of a sudden you're turning around and you got people's backs.
Bring up the first and 21 now from the 9.
A lot of the wide side here.
And Nishwad's on the move. Nails them behind the line of scrimmage. I think Nishwad will get credit for a sack.
Well, you'd have to say to your team, basically, well played game. They were well disciplined at the beginning.
25 seconds to play, so probably would be the last play of the game, if anything. The road to the dome continues for the John Glenn Rockets. Marlon McClendon nearly has the interception. It's chipped and juggled and finally brought down as time expires. The John Glenn Rockets will make it to the semifinals for the first time since 1994 with a 22-8 victory over Dearborn Fordson.
Yeah, and
Now,
they're just the kind of team to do it. They played a well game. Good game today for those guys, and unfortunately, Fordson had a few problems.
so John Glenn, the Rockets, unbelievably come back from an 8-8 tie to take this game and take control in the second half.